Alright, we're going to go ahead and finish our little girl who is supposed to look like she's on a little stage here with the little lights and the parquet floor. And I went ahead and cut her out, and you'll notice that when I cut her out, I left just a real small border around the edge. Sometimes I like to color right on it, but I find this girl with her hair, it's easier to leave a small shadow on that. So we have her cut out. And we'll want to go ahead and put these two pieces down, and we're going to put the pink one down first, and then we'll put the wood floor down second, so that it can cover it up slightly. All right, now we're gonna we'll go ahead and put these little lights on, and I'm going to actually snip it right there. And this is POW paper from American Crafts, and I think it's a lot of fun. It can be die cut. I find though it has a little slick back on it. Almost makes you think it is going to have an adhesive back, but it doesn't. But I think a glue dot works, is what I think works the best. So I'm going to use these teeny tiny little glue dots. Just putting one at each edge and one in the middle. And then go ahead and line this up on the bottom of my card. Like that. Okay. In with your kit also, you should have some die cut stars. Now this is a die cut from Lawn Fawn. It's a small journaling card, but it has a lot of really teeny tiny little die cuts. And so I use these little stars, and it'll take a little bit of work, but you should be able to pull them out. Pull them out from the bottom, and I'm just going to use 3 stars. So I'm going to push up through the bottom here, and it might even take a little snip of a scissor in some cases. When these die cuts get really tiny like this, the POW paper does become a little bit of a challenge, but not much. And we'll get the third one, and I think we'll wait. Actually, we'll put these on at the very end. The next thing I want to do is I can go ahead and put my little girl on the card, and I'm going to just use a few pop dots here all along her, and I'm putting her so the ruffle is sort of just covering up where that floor seam is, just like that. And the next thing we want to do is we want to make this little bow with a button. And I actually threaded the thread through on my sample without a needle, but I decided I would get a needle to make it a little easier. So what we're going to do is we're just going to crisscross the button so that we have a nice little crisscross right there, and try to even them up a bit, the edges. Then we have the ends of our button like this. Okay, once we have our button threaded like that, we'll lay our button down, and then we're going to just take our ribbon, and you can use the markers or you don't have to use the markers. You could use your fingers if you wanted, and I'm just wrapping the ribbon around. If I make a double bow, I think last month I showed a double bow like this, and you can wrap it twice. And so it's just around the marker, just like that. Of course, my markers are not cooperating with me today for this video. I think it's this button that's pushing it. So we have the button on the bottom, and we have the loop there, and we're just going to tie this into a knot. And you should be able to just very gently do this. You should see the little bow there, and we'll just we'll actually tie a knot in it before we take it off the markers. So then you just gently slide these out. You have a nice little bow there. Now is a good time to just adjust it how you like it, wherever you want your tails to be. And in this case, I think I just want them out there a little bit, and I'm gonna just trim my purple twine. So now you'll have the card. We have the little sentiment here, and I've lined this up with the edge and then put the bow on top of it, just like that. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I'm just using regular adhesive for this, although you could use the glue dots if you have them handy. And then I'm going to use the glue dots on the ribbon, and I'm going to, because I'm using these little bitty ones, I'm going to use a couple and put that right there. And then on the stars as well, I'm going to use these tiny glue dots, if I can pick up the stars. I like to just stick them right down onto the glue dot. Press them hard and then peel them up. And we'll stick one up here, maybe. And put a couple here. Now I always use odd numbers of little gems or something, and I try to make a small triangle. Kind of a, I don't know, is oblique the right word? Triangle. So something not perfect, not a perfect equal-sided triangle, but kind of an odd-sided triangle. And that's usually the rules I use for that. So there we have that card. And there she is finished. Okay, to finish up our last card here, we have the little circle card, and so you should have just a couple pieces, the girl, some pearls, and then your ribbon. So we'll just start by putting the small gray pattern paper down first, and I just love this paper. This paper is from Lawn Fawn's new Hello Sunshine, I believe is the name of the group, and it's just this most delicate, beautiful gray, and it has these teeny tiny little dots, and I love it. You can use it for little critters, and it has such a small pattern that it's good for that. And actually, in your kits, the paper is a little longer, so you can just trim that along the edge. The next thing we'll do is we'll put the green down, and they will overlap slightly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our little girl on here, and we're going to line her up with this this seam right here, and I've got about a ½ inch down at the bottom. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is put our ribbon on it, and I'm going to use my favorite Jennifer McGuire tips, and we're going to punch a hole where we want the bow to be, which is about an inch up, and it's going to be right on the seam there, so you can see the seam. So we're going to do that. Now, to remember this tip, we're going to come up from the back, and we're going to leave enough to tie the bow on the front here. And then we're going to, it doesn't matter if you go this way or this way, you'll go all the way around and then back up through the hole. So now go ahead, and once you have the two ends up, we're going to pull them through and again just sort of even the two edges out and make sure that this is over the middle of this. Alright, the last thing left is to tie the bow, and easier said than done on some days. You're just going to keep working it until you get it. This ribbon is very forgiving. You could tie it 3 or 4 times before it would do anything, and it still wouldn't look wrinkled. So another great plus about this ribbon. And then we'll just trim it, and we're going to trim it short so it doesn't show or doesn't cover up her dress. And there we go. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a couple little pearls. And I've got 3 different sizes here. I'm going to open up this card. This is on that nice card shop from Basil. It's a little thick though sometimes. So I'm going to put a small one here. And I'm going to put, I'm going to use my little tool as having a hard time with my fingers. All right, maybe I'll have better luck with my fingers. We're going to put the large one up here next to it, and again to kind of keep with our little triangular theme here, I'm going to put another one about here and maybe slightly further away, and there we have that. The last thing, if you want, you can add a little stickles or a glitter pin to a couple little parts of her dress or her shoes. And I'll just do that now how I did it. I put a little bit of stickles on this card. I actually used the stickles on her boots. And there you get that nice little look there. And then on this girl, you could put a little glitter pin, and you could put one like as the gemstone on here. You could also use a little bit on each of her cheetah prints. If you find that you have too much glitter pin, the glitter pin does take a little bit of time to dry, not as long as the stickles take to dry. But you could, if you wanted, sometimes I'll touch it with my finger like that and take a little bit of it off from time to time. So there you have it. There you have both of the cards. I hope you enjoyed the class, and we'll see you next month.